boys and girls. This is Mrs. Mounier, and I'm back today with another Bible story. Well, last week I was at the beach. So this week I picked a story to read to you that is about a giant fish and a man who wanted to hide from God. Well, the name of that story is Jonah and the Whale. And you know, Jonah has his own book in the Old Testament. He has a whole book to himself. And in chapter 1 is the story of Jonah and the Whale. So if you would like a grown-up to read it to you, that's where you would find it. Find it in the Old Testament, Jonah Chapter 1. Okay, everybody get comfy and get ready for the story of Jonah and the Whale. Well, Jonah was a good man and he believed in God. He lived a long, long time ago. And one day, God told him in a dream that he should go to a place called Nineveh. And God told Jonah that Nineveh is not so good lately. A lot of bad people are living there and doing bad things. I want you to go there, Jonah, and I want you to tell them they have to start behaving because they are being wicked. And I want you to tell them to start listening to me. Well, Jonah didn't want to go. Would you want to go to a place full of bad people and tell them to start obeying God? It might be a little bit scary because they were bad people. Sometimes God asks us to do hard things. But Jonah just did not want to go. So he had this bright idea that he would just go far away and God wouldn't be able to find him. Can you imagine God not knowing where you are? Oh, Jonah. So he went to this place that was far away from Nineveh that was called Tarshish. He decided he would go in a boat across the sea. So he got on a ship and he set sail to be far away from God. But as soon as he got on the ship, a terrible storm came up. And everybody was really worried and upset. They were afraid that the ship was going to sink. Even the sailors were afraid. And sailors were really used to being in storms on the sea. Well, the sailors prayed to their gods, but nothing happened. The storm kept going on and getting stronger. The captain of the ship woke Jonah up because all this time he was asleep. So the captain woke him up and he said, Jonah, our God is not answering us. Our gods aren't answering. So would you please pray to your God and save us from this storm? Well, Jonah didn't want to pray because he was afraid if he prayed that God would know where he was. So he just finally said, look, just throw me into the sea because I'm pretty sure that God is angry with me, and if you throw me off the ship, you'll all be saved. The captain said, how could I do such a thing? I can't throw you off the ship and into this angry ocean. But some of the other sailors heard, and they grabbed Jonah and threw him overboard. There he is. Oh my goodness. And you know what? As soon as he was off the boat, the storm stopped. Everything got nice and calm. Well, Jonah, he sank way down into the ocean, and look what swallowed him up. A whale. You're right. A whale swallowed him up. Well, you know what? Jonah lived inside that whale for 3 days. Can you imagine that? He thought, even though this whale swallowed me, I'm still alive, and God has saved me. But it was very dark and wet inside of the whale. Maybe you remember a story, Pinocchio, where Pinocchio gets swallowed by a whale. Well, after the 3 days, do you know what happened? That whale swam up to the beach and he spit out Jonah. And Jonah landed on the dry land. You see him there? And do you know what God said to him? Go to Nineveh. That's what he told him to do in the first place. Okay, God, said Jonah, I will listen to you. And he walked all the way to the great but wicked city of Nineveh. Jonah got up in front of all the people and he said, God wants you to stop being wicked. God will destroy your city if you don't start obeying him. You must listen to God. Jonah left the city and he sat outside of the city. Can see him there, sitting in the hills, looking down over the city. But the city didn't get destroyed. Do you know why? God decided to spare the city because the people woke up and they started to obey God. So God decided to spare them and save them. Jonah was a little bit confused at first, but God spoke to him again, and God said, Jonah, I love all my people. I love them all very much. And God said, do you know what, Jonah? I am everywhere. You can't run away from me. Jonah knew that was true. God knows where you are all the time, and he knows what you're doing. I think it's kind of interesting that God gave Jonah a job to do that seemed really hard. And Jonah wanted to run away from that job and run away from God and hide. But since God is everywhere and sees us all the time, Jonah couldn't hide. And what is so amazing is that even though Jonah didn't want to do that job, he did it. And he was very good at explaining to the people in Nineveh that they had to start obeying God. I think God helped him to give that message. God gives us hard jobs sometimes, really hard jobs that we don't want to do. But you know what? He always tells us that he is going to help us do those hard jobs. He's always right there with us every day. Whether we're on a ship in a rough sea, or whether we're in our classroom, or if we're riding our bike in the neighborhood, God is always there with us. That makes me feel so happy and so good that he's there helping me. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to be praying for you. Please pray for me too. And I can't wait to see you later. Bye.